Hello Guardians, it is Ebontis here, and in this video I want to go over what I think is going to be a god roll for the title SMG. I'll cover PvP, I'll cover PvE, but these are my opinions. I also play on mouse and keyboard. Controller could have some differences. If you have any, constructive input, feel free to put that in the comments below. If you're like, hey, stability is going to help this thing more on controller, cool. If you're like, nope, give it all the range, if there is helpful tips that maybe I don't mention, throw that in the comments below. But again, these are my opinions, not claiming to be an expert, and everybody plays and things feel a little bit different to everybody. So again, remember, it's a preference thing. Now, I will personally say for me, I'm going to give this thing as much range as I can get without giving much up in the first place. Stability, kind of a number 2. When I'm going for PvE, I'm not worried about really most other stats because I'm going to get a lot of them. PvP, I'll give you a couple tips. Now, the recoil direction on this one of 85, it's already perfectly vertical. So getting any more recoil direction really doesn't help me much, personally. Now, that being said, it could feel different to different people. It is a high damage, high recoil weapon, but to me, it actually feels pretty stable, pretty consistent. That's why I'm not going to worry as much about stability. So that's why my number 1 for masterwork is going to be range, all the way across the board. If you can get a range masterwork on this one, already take a look at it because that could be a hard one to get in the first place. Now, on controller, stability may help this thing, but depending on if you're trying to take this into PvP, I still think range is going to be more important. So I've got to lean into range pretty much across the board here. Now, when it comes to barrels, you've got some options. Some are going to be really good, some are going to be close, some are going to be really not helping at all. Now, I said full range, which theoretically would be full bore, but I'm giving up stability and handling. I'm not as worried about the handling, still sitting mostly in the middle, but 9 stability, taking that thing down to 19 just hurts. I can't do that one, not going to happen. Your number 1 range for easy benefit, it's going to be hammer forged rifling. If you get this one, we're walking range out there about as far as we can get. So, big benefit, no takeaways, not too shabby. But honestly, if this is going to be like 1A, 1B for me is going to be small bore. 2/3 of the range, but now we're getting 6 stability to go with it. Both of these are going to be good. If you get either of these, consider it probably a top roll in this perk section here. Now, for me, like a number 2, which is technically what I got on the weapon I got, corkscrew rifling. Little less range, little less stability, but we did get a boost in handling. Not losing anything. Nice stats to get across the board. It's okay, but this would be my number 2. Number 1A, number 1B, number 2 here. Now, when it comes to extended barrel, giving up handling in something like PvE, probably going to be okay. Recoil direction, it's still vertical, not much is changing, it's just even tighter. But 9 range, if you get this one and you're taking this one into a PvE roll, don't completely ignore this one. But as you're giving up 9 handling, I would prefer not to, as the other ones aren't doing that. But if you do get this one, and it's, again, handling less important in PvE personally. PvP, you probably don't want to give up the 9 handling just because having a snappy feeling weapon is always good, especially with the other options out here. But if you get this one with like my God Roll PvE perk, keep it. Still going to be a very good roll. Magazines, not really doing anything to extend it. You can go armor piercing rounds. That's going to be potentially a decent one for PvE. High caliber, probably reasonable in both departments, still getting a booster range. Stagger on enemies in PvP. A little bit of, staggering in PvP. Not bad either way. Definitely a decent option. Top stat roll, it's going to be ricochet rounds without a question. Same range as the other ones, but now you're getting 9 stability. So this one, pretty solid. Oh, let me fix this thing, put it back down on I'll put it on small bore because that one is actually going to be a really good stat. So increased stability and slightly increases range. So, I mean, I can't argue. If you get this one, this probably is the number 1 for beneficial stats. On the other side, though, if you get, say, light mag, some range and some reload speed, or if you get high caliber rounds, range and a little bit of stagger or knockback, armor piercing rounds, a little bit of shield piercing, still getting that range. All of those are going to be good. I personally just think ricochet rounds is the number 1. These are like all tied for 2, depending on what it's going into. This would probably be more PvE, PvP, PvE, pretty much all around goodness. Flared magwell, like stability and reload speed, it's fine, but I'm not that worried about the reload. And then anything with magazines, not really going to be the benefit to give up the reload speed, especially can't do it. So, number 1, ricochet here. Now, perks 3 and 4, this is where we get to the fun stuff. For number 3, I'm going to go stats for all, 1 for all. Now, this is my PvE God Roll. This is what I'm looking for. And I got pretty close. I got a corkscrew rifling, high caliber rounds, stats for all, 1 for all. I haven't seen this pair together except one time, and I've seen a lot of these guns. This is still a good roll. Still going to give me solid range. I got a little bit of boost on stats here, and I did actually get the range masterwork. I'm keeping this one. But if I had a preference, this is what I would go for. Stats for all is going to give you 10 range, 10 stability, 30 handling. That's why if you do end up giving up a little bit of handling somewhere, it's not the end of the world. And 35 reload speed. That's if you hit 3 separate targets within about 3 seconds. In a PvE situation, not that difficult to proc, especially when you got a lot of stuff coming at you. And when all of that stuff procs, so does 35% bonus damage. All of that lasts for 10 seconds. Then when that runs out, hit 3 more enemies and you're good. Good for ad clearing. If you ever need a void SMG for any situation where you need an SMG for champions, we get to a situation where if overload again and you need void, this could be your guy. So for PvE, this is going to be my number 1. Alternatively, for PvE, you could go Swashbuckler and Grave Robber. Those synergize well. Melee final blows, refill the weapon from reserves. Also, if you get that melee kill, you're going to boost that thing straight up to 5x, which is 33% damage. And also, if you keep killing stuff at that point, you can continue to extend that damage. Those are my main 2. Focus Fury is going to be harder to hit on an SMG. You're going to have to hit 13, 14 bullets with this thing as crits. Then you're going to get the 20% damage for 12 seconds. But you got to get crits and you have half the magazine. I can use 3 bullets to proc this. Like ping, ping, ping. And then I got 10 seconds of all the bonuses. So personally, even like Dynamic Sway Reduction, Focused Fury, I just can't get behind that one personally. Turnabout, not really generally worth it. For PvE, I don't like Surrounded as much, honestly, because you have to have 3 enemies around you. You kill one of them, bam, there goes your damage. Just not a big fan of it personally. Swashbuckler and Grave Robber is probably number 2. Stats for all, 1 for all, probably my number 1 for PvE. Now, for PvP, most of this stuff's all going to be the same. You don't have to change too much. Classic Contender is always going to be there. For PvP, I've got my main one that I want to go for that I haven't seen yet. I want Moving Target Perpetual Motion. Literally while moving. Both of these are that. You get a 3% reduced movement speed penalty from ADS. Also, plus 10 aim assist at all times. And while you're moving for 2 seconds, it's 5 stability, handling, and reload. If you're still moving after 10 seconds, 15 stability, handling, and reload. For PvP, the aim assist, for the stability, the handling, the reload speed, all of this stuff paired with everything you got here, going to be working some good things in PvP. It feels very stable already. And if you get these type of rolls, decent stability, substantial range, almost out to 20 meters for that far range, but again, 13 meters for max, you're going to be able to put in some work. And now with shotguns, as fusions are been pulled back a little bit, and again, fusion max range is going to be probably about to that 19-20 meters. You're going to be able to compete if you can get something like this. Now, an alternative to Perpetual Motion is Threat Detector. If somebody's within 15 meters, which is generally probably where you need to be anyway, you're going to be getting 15 stability, approximately, 15 reload, and some handling animation, deductions. If there are 2 enemies close by, 40 stability, it's going to be pretty laser-like, 55 reload, and very snappy handling. Both of these can work. Moving Target, I just feel, is probably your biggest benefit in PvP. Now, you get Swashbuckler, you get a kill, you get a melee kill, maybe. But I gotta say, Moving Target's probably my number 1 easy for PvP. And then for this column here, it's either going to be Perpetual or Threat Detector. Those are my main 2. And that's what, for me, is going to make this weapon feel good. If you have a different preference, comment below and let me know if you think there's perks, loadouts, masterworks. If you feel controller, this thing just feels totally different and it does need the stability, let me know. That's what the comment section's for. Civil discussion. If you get crazy in there, not going to do any good. But if you guys did enjoy this video, if you found this as a good guide as to what roles you should be keeping, what your maybe roles are, let me know in the comments below. But drop a like if you enjoyed this one. If you guys want to find me on Twitch or streaming or on Twitch, it's Ebontis, Twitter, Ebontis, right here on YouTube. If you haven't subbed, which I know a lot of you haven't, hit that subscribe button, hit the alert bell. You guys know I'm going to keep the Destiny content coming to you. If you guys are YouTube members, if you are Patreon subs, thank you for that extra support. All of you are awesome. I'll see you in the next video. Maybe I'll see you in the stream. Have a good one.